A very good morning, class 10th. Children, last time, unfortunately, I was not able to take your class, but I am pretty much sure that Himani ma'am has taken a very good care of all 10A students too. Children, she told me that she has started with endocrine system, so I will be proceeding further with the same. And as far as I know, you people are over with the topic anterior lobe of pituitary gland, right? I will be trying to take a small recap of pituitary gland along with the anterior lobe. If you have any issues with the covered up topic, you can ask me anytime, right? So as of now, let us start with the topic pituitary gland. First of all, understand the location, children. Pituitary gland is located in the hypothalamic region of brain, right? You may specify forebrain, that means the front area of brain, hypothalamic region of forebrain, right? Or you may also use the word, when you study nervous system, you will be coming across a term diencephalon. That will be a more appropriate word, but even if you write hypothalamic region of brain, that is absolutely fine, right? Then you come to that when you talk about the pituitary, it's a pea-sized gland in hypothalamic region of brain, and this is also known as a master gland because the hormones which are released by this pituitary gland, generally from the anterior lobe, the front lobe of pituitary gland, these hormones are able to control the activity of other endocrine glands, right? So that's why pituitary is known as the master gland. But remember, since three lobes are there, all three lobes perform different function. First of all, you understand that anterior lobe is also known as adenohypophysis. Here, hypophysis word is used for the brain structure, where the hypothalamus structure is there, and adenohypophysis is the anterior lobe of pituitary. You also call it pars distalis, right? Intermediate lobe, if you can see the purple colored middle row here, this is intermediate lobe. You also call it pars intermedia. And the last one is posterior lobe, slightly at the back side, posterior lobe. You also call it neurohypophysis or pars nervosa. You have to learn all these alternate terms too, because whenever there is a question for match the following or fill up the blanks, or I mean anything that is connected, alternate terms should always be known, right? So let us get on with this structure. I will be taking a few more details out of this structure. So let me see if I can draw things. Yes. Children, this particular area is hypothalamic area. That means this is the area which is actually the brain portion, right? And this lobular structure is hanging out of the hypothalamus, and the point where it hangs out, that is a stalk, the point of connection of hypothalamus and pituitary. You call it hypothalamic stalk, right? Then you come to why I have drawn such structure, and I am taking it again. This is anterior pituitary. The second one, purple color middle lobe, that is intermediate lobe, and this one is posterior pituitary. Why I have given the color shades here? Children, the first one is having those red color lines just to show that this lobe of pituitary is under the control of blood concentrations. Why I am saying blood concentration? Because this lobe release any hormone only on the basis of sensing what is the concentration of hormone in the blood. Suppose like you have studied that there is ACTH which is there in the, it is released by the anterior pituitary, and it actually goes to the adrenal gland to control it, right? But when this ACTH will be released, when this lobe would be sensing that in the blood ACTH is going down. So when something is finishing, at that time only you need it. When something is already in higher concentrations in blood, you will not be needing them more. So at that time, anterior pituitary will not be releasing the hormones, right? These hormones are released only when they are needed. They are low in blood concentration. So this is why I have said that anterior lobe is always responding to the concentration of respective hormones in the blood. When the hormone concentration is less, the hormones are released from the anterior pituitary, but when they are not needed, they are already high in concentration. At that time, anterior pituitary will not be responding to them, right? That's why I have written it. So let me clear up the anterior lobe now. It has become slightly messy. Then you come to the intermediate lobe. Intermediate lobe is associated with only one hormone. I believe that these hormones, growth hormone, ACTH, TSH, and GTH, these are told to you, explained to you nicely by ma'am. So if you have any issues regarding these ones, please you can ask me separately. Fine. Come to MSH. MSH is a melanocyte stimulating hormone. Melanocyte stimulating hormone. Now, melanocytes are the cells of your body basically present beneath the skin, and these are the pigment producing cells which release the color melanin, the pigment melanin. When these melanocytes are stimulated, they will release more melanin. When they are not stimulated, they will release less melanin, right? And the last lobe. So basically, my area of concern today is the last lobe. Just let me clear this one. Posterior pituitary. Few very important things that you need to understand. You can see that I have shaded it with a slightly gray color, and then you can see those blue fibers extending into it. What am I trying to say? The blue fibers I have used just to imply that these are the nerves. Though the whole pituitary is having the nervous interference, nerves will be reaching each and every cell, but this area is in particular under nervous control. That means this area does not respond to the concentration of a hormone in blood, rather it responds to the nerve. If your nerves bring the message to release a hormone, only then, when you will be studying nervous system, you will understand this better, that if your nerves bring the message to this lobe to release a hormone, only then it will be released. Otherwise, if it doesn't get the message from brain and nervous system to release a particular hormone, this lobe does not respond, right? Two hormones out of, I hope now you understand what's the difference between lobe 1 and lobe 2. Now this is under the control of blood hormonal concentration in blood, and this is under the control of nervous system. When the nerves would say, only then this will respond, right? Two hormones there, ADH and oxytocin. So ADH is antidiuretic hormone, and oxytocin is basically muscular. It induces muscular contraction, severe muscular contraction. I'm just coming back to the main page so that you understand things better. See, ADH and vasopressin. So now what does ADH do? You people have studied this word at the time I taught you excretory system. In excretory system, the volume of urine was controlled by ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Why? Because this is responsible for water resorption. That means it does not allow all the water to go out through kidney, rather it maintains the osmoregulation, it maintains the osmolarity of your blood, the concentration of water in the blood, by retaining the water back whatever is needed, right? And it also brings about the vasoconstriction. When your blood vessels constrict, at that time your blood pressure also raises. Remember the deficiency of ADH. Now this is an important question, because suppose if your ADH is not in appropriate amounts in your blood, in that case there is a condition known as water diabetes. Now initially And there are two types of diabetes in the body. One is diabetes mellitus. You call it sugar basically. That is the hyperglycemic condition in the body, raised blood sugar level. But this one is water diabetes. That means not raised blood sugar, rather raised water level in the urine. So through frequent urination, I mean the frequency of urination is higher, because in this case the water is not retained back in the body. All the water is lost through frequent urination. So in this case the urine is also not hypertonic, it is very very hypotonic. Always study it in comparison with diabetes mellitus, because there you might be having a differentiate on the basis of bulk of glucose or bulk of water, and the other thing is which hormone is basically responsible for the diseases, right? The second one is oxytocin. So here you see that oxytocin induces muscular contraction and helps in childbirth and milk ejection. So basically at the time of delivery of a newborn, I mean the fetus, at that time there are severe contractions induced in the uterus of the female, and these contractions actually help in propelling the child out of the body. Similar is the case with milk ejection. Milk is also with a thrust when the baby suckles the nipple of the mother. In that case, oxytocin, the message is sent to brain for the suckling of the nipple. In that case, brain releases oxytocin through the posterior lobe, and this brings about the milk ejection. Right, children? I hope this much is clear to you. So in my next video, I will be starting with adrenal gland today. I am not moving very fast because the chapter is really very important. And if you find any issues with any topic, please feel free to ask me. Right?